Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me on my channel today. My name is Katie. It's a real pleasure to meet all of you Aries folks out there. I am going to be doing a general tarot reading today. I'm just looking specifically at this last week in February, and then from then on I will be doing readings in the beginning of the month, every month. So definitely come back to my channel and check me out during that time. And like I said, this is a general reading, so you are going to find that some of this information may not line up with you exactly, and that's okay, because there are definitely a ton of varying personalities within the Aries zodiac itself, depending on the time and day that you were born exactly. So if you are interested in a personal reading, come and check out my website, www.blissfully.com. And I would be happy to book a time with you to get a personal reading. I do Skype or phone online readings, as well as recorded video readings and email readings. And then if anybody's in the Phoenix area, I do tarot reading events and parties where I can come to your event that you're having and read cards for people there. So I'd love to meet all of you in person, so please reach out to me if you feel that you wish to do so. I'm also going to be posting a picture of this spread onto my Instagram account, blissfullyliving13. Please go ahead and pause the video if you want to, and then go find that picture on Instagram and follow along if you want to. Otherwise, just continue with the video. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and lay out my spread, and we can get started. Okay. So the first card that I'm getting for you in your U position is the Ace of Winter, and what this is telling me is that you're definitely drawing yourself within lately, and you're dealing with a lot of mental issues, probably anxiety at the foremost, and maybe even some issues with depression, but definitely a general paranoia out there with how you're perceiving the world outside and how you're perceiving yourself in this world. And what's crossing that is the Ace of Autumn. And the Ace of Autumn is like the Rider's and Weight deck. It's related to the Pentacles, which is employment, career, material wealth, you know, those kinds of things. And given the fact that these are both aces, that tells me that this is a brand new fear or anxiety that has started for you, and the anxiety is related to bringing in money. Maybe you're looking at a career change. Maybe you've actually recently lost your job, or it's definitely telling me that you're going to be going on a new path in terms of your material wealth, and it might not be what you're typically used to. So at the forefront, what's on your conscious level is the Nine of Summer, and this card is definitely related to wishes, hopes, dreams, that kind of thing. So getting more information on the individual situation with you, this card is telling me that that your financial situation, the fear and anxiety about bringing in more money, actually is relating a lot towards what you truly are passionate and interested in. And it could also be something that you find yourself daydreaming a lot about. So with that said, your subconscious mind is the Knight of Spring. And this card is associated with actually going out there and going on that journey and following your passions. But because this is the Knight card, it's got a lot of naivety related to it. So I think what's going on here is that there might be a fear of actually going out there and following your dreams and following your passions and letting that be your living being your source of income. But I think part of you really knows that what you need to do is actually just go out there and get started with it. Because you're not really going to find success if you just don't get started in the first place. Recently in your past, you've been dealing a lot with the Chariot, and to me, relating to the rest of this spread, it's been dealing with a lot of determined emotions, a lot of go-getter emotions, which relates very closely to Aries and your personality traits in general. And I think for a while you were actually pursuing, you know, that passion of yours, that drive. But recently it seems like you've come up to a bit of a halt, like you've almost found a bit of a nervousness within yourself. And this feels different for you, especially since you're so used to being that driven, go-getter kind of a personality. And this makes sense because your future coming up is the Herald of Winter. Winter is related to the sword, so a lot of mental issues, again, as related to your U card. But what we're seeing here is the beginning of probably self-doubt and anxiety, as was mentioned before. But I think that you know within you that the most important thing to do is to continue on that path, to continue as the Chariot is doing, continue as the Knight of Spring is doing, and just following your passions and not letting anybody else tell you that you can't do it. Sorry, these readings make me really thirsty, so that's why I keep drinking water. Okay. So friends and family are also going through a bit of a change themselves. They're experiencing the Wheel of Time. Make sure you can see it, okay? And so they're probably focused on their own path, their own situation right now, rather than being a good support to you. And maybe you might have been actually looking towards them for help, and that might be the reason or the cause as to why you've been experiencing this anxiety lately. But I think the most important thing to do, as was mentioned before, is to let them go on their own path and to let you go on your own path. Because right now what's important is to trust your own gut and to trust your intuition. Some fears that I see going on is that maybe there's too many choices going on, there's too many options. You're overwhelmed with the amount of work that needs to happen in order to pursue, you know, your dream, in order to pursue actually accomplishing what it is that makes you feel passionate, that makes you feel the fire. And my suggestion to you would be to simply, again, follow your intuition. You can see here that she's got a lot of hats in this picture, and there's a lot to choose from. There's a lot to look at and focus on, and then the other two people in the picture are trying to suggest to them, you know, well, what about this one? What about that one? And they may be other people in your life that are trying to be helpful per se, or are not actually. They could also be the type of people that are just trying to get you to pick their options or pick their way of life in order to benefit them, and they may not actually be looking out for your better judgment. So again, ground yourself and follow your intuition, and remember what interested you in your passion in the first place. Remember that spark, as in the Nine of Summer, because this has been grounded in you for some time now, for probably your entire life. And if you are going to allow yourself to get jaded by other people trying to tell you what is the better option, what's the better route, then you're not going to stay true to who you really are. So don't allow yourself to get overwhelmed with all of the different choices and all of the things that are going on in your life, because you know the right route. You've done this before. You are the type of person that when you make a decision, you stick to it. And maybe this is a bit of a roadblock right now, and maybe you are having a little bit of self-doubt. But I think if anything, this will help you learn more about yourself and who you are, and help you into that next chapter or stage in your life. Because you get back to your roots, you go back to the basics, you go back to what it was that got you started in the first place. And by remembering that, that is going to be the thing that will drive you forward. It will bring you all of the success that you need. You don't need to worry about all of the flashy gadgets, all of the superfluous detail, because if you are planning on making money off of this, if you are planning on this being your actual living, what will bring in your income, you will attract the clientele that works best for you. And you will find that when you're too overwhelming and you have too much information going on, you're going to be getting a lot of clientele that's going to be also too chaotic, and you will find that it will actually be even harder for you to be able to help them, or to be able to do the things that you feel most passionate about, because there isn't a core value. And I think that that's the major thing that's going on with your spread, is back to the basics, core values, that kind of thing. Okay, so in your hope section, you've got the King of Spring, which is one of my favorite cards, just because he looks so happy, so charismatic, so at ease. And because this is in your hope section, this is definitely telling me that this is where you want to see yourself in life. Or maybe you even have a mentor that exudes these kinds of personality traits that you want to get up to or aspire towards being. So I can tell you right now that you definitely will get there, as long as you stay true to who you are. Because that's the same thing that's going on with the King of Spring, is that he does have a very hard sense of understanding and knowing of who he is and what he believes in. So again, back to that main theme. Your last card, the Final Outcome, is just a friendly reminder. It's the Eight of Winter. It's saying if you continue on this form of this path of self-doubt and this path of anxiety and fear, what you're going to find is that you're going to end up trying to please and meet the needs of others rather than meeting the needs of yourself, and it's going to push you to the extent of exhaustion. So this is just tough love, is what the cards are trying to say right now. So, get back on that chariot, get back on your horse, on your steed, and stay as determined and driven as you were in the past, and you will find that you will be as successful as you aspire to be, because you already are. So definitely stay true to your values, stick with the basics, and just keep writing. And you'll find that everything that you want in life is going to come to you because you've held on to those values. Alright, so that was a really great reading in my mind. Please hit subscribe if you're interested in seeing your your monthly tarot readings. Please check out my website to learn more about me and why I do tarot readings in the first place. I'll actually probably post a video or something about it too, so that you can check that out. And yeah, so it was a pleasure speaking with you, Aries. I wish you a wonderful rest of your February, and I'll see you again in March. Bye for now.